Welcome back to another episode of 40 Facts About the 40K Universe. I am your host, Gershwin, and you are watching One Mind Syndicate. Today, we talk about the Battle Barge, one of the most iconic warships of Warhammer 40K. This is going to be one video in a series of videos where we cover the different classes of battleships that you find in Warhammer 40K. So if you guys have any suggestions, comment down below. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe, because we post Warhammer 40K content every single day. With that said, let's get into 40 facts about the Battle Barge. The Battle Barge is the largest class of warship used by the Adeptus Astartes, and most Space Marine chapters control 2 or 3 of these potent vessels. The term battle barge does not refer to a single designation or class of warship as such, but rather is a title given to any variant or retrofit of battleship class hull, modified and optimized for use by the Legionis Astartes or the Adeptus Astartes, specifically for Space Marine planetary assault and ship-to-ship boarding action. The conduct of the Great Crusade required vessels by the thousands. Vessels that could not only carry armies and bring apocalyptic destruction to bear, but could also endure the perilous transit of warp space and endure the titanic forces and hardships of the immaterium and the deep void both. Military vessels were needed not only to replace losses, but to meet the ever-expanding demands of the expeditionary fleets, the Armada Imperialis, and on lesser scale, the rogue traders and local navies. To satisfy this constant need, a bewildering variety of classes of warships were developed to fulfill an equally bewildering variety of roles. Any capital vessel used by the Legionis Astartes exclusively is often referred to as a battle barge, regardless of the technical truth of the matter. After the Horus Heresy, measures were taken to contain the power of the Space Marine legions. Solemn decrees that would ensure no single individual could ever again command such might in isolation. As is well documented, the legions, each numbering thousands of Space Marines, were divided down into smaller war hosts called chapters, each of only 1,000 warriors. What is perhaps of greater importance is that the Space Marines were divorced from the old Imperial military. The new Adeptus Astartes chapters would no longer hold dominion over the vast fleets of battleships or grand regiments of vassal soldiery. If they were to triumph among the stars and stand resolute against the darkness of the void, they would need to work within the Imperium and as part of it. Since that time, Space Marines have been granted only such warships as are needed to patrol their system's borders and deliver them to battle. To this day, the primary function of these fleets have been to transport battle-ready forces of Space Marines into war. Though formidably armed and armored, the battle barges of the Space Marines are no exception to this rule, and were designed first and foremost to facilitate full-scale planetary assaults. Each has enough hold space to accommodate 3 full companies of Space Marines, along with their vehicles and support elements. Indeed, the majority of the battle barges' interior hull space is given over to launch bays, muster decks, and transport holds. Housed there as squadrons of Thunderhawk gunships, an array of intra-system craft, and dozens of drop pods. With such resources at its command, a battle barge can deploy almost all of its forces simultaneously, putting its entire complement of Space Marines on the front lines within minutes of reaching orbit. The speed and ease with which this is accomplished has caught many a foe off guard, allowing them little time to prepare before the angels of death bring fire and vengeance to their door. Considering its size, a battle barge has little in the way of Space Marine crew. The warriors of the Adeptus Astartes are too rare and too valuable to be tasked with performing the myriad mechanical functions required to keep a warship at operational readiness. Instead, they act as officers, overseeing the ranks of servitors and chapter serfs, who carry out other less critical duties, performing all of the menial and manual tasks unworthy of their Space Marine lords. Yet, even these subordinates are too precious to be wasted in the gunnery decks. Loading and calibrating a starship's weapons for firing is a perilous undertaking. Plasma, wash, unscheduled detonations, and residual radiation keep the attrition rate in these areas high. Those with enough luck and fortitude to survive such daily toils are soon claimed by combat, beaten past their physical tolerance by a gangmaster's whip, or obliterated by enemy fire targeted to rob a battle barge of its capacity to attack. With such high mortality rates, the crewing of the gun decks falls to the indentured underclass of slaves and vat-grown dregs. In this way, their worthless lives are given purpose, for even the lowliest may redeem themselves by giving their lives in service to the Emperor and to the Imperium. Although most Space Marine chapters have a fortress monastery housed on a moon or world, many do not. These chapters have been forced into the void by war or cruel circumstances as spacefaring fleets. To these chapters, battle barges play an even more important role, forming bastions that carry the chapter's legacy and a haven when pressed. Several chapters are rumored to possess even larger vessels adapted from the battle barges, or built by some other means. As of the current year, the following chapters are known to be almost entirely fleet-based, though this record is doubtless incomplete. The Imperial Fists, the Black Templars, Executioners, Black Dragons, Invaders, Cardinal Guard, Minotaurs, Firehawks, Lamenters, Mantis Warriors, Relictors, Scythes of the Emperor, and Knights of Gryphon. The Adeptus Astartes only engage enemy warships on favored terms, if needed at all. As has already been noted, battle barges were not built for naval engagements. They lacked the long-range firepower of larger capital ships and the maneuverability of light cruisers. In void combat, a battle barge will rely on its heavier armor to close in with the enemy ship and launch devastating boarding actions as it closes. A battle barge can use the weapon's batteries that stud much of its hull to rake the enemy with fire. Rank upon rank of plasma projectors, macro laser cannons, missile racks, and fusion beamers fire and diffuse salvos, a coordinated pattern of shots designated to strip a target's shield and overwhelm its close-range defense. With its shield down, an enemy vessel is left open to a teleported assault. Few ships can survive such an attack, the swift wrath of a squad of Space Marines stalking their corridors and attacking critical systems. It is because of this that the enemy captain will do everything in his power to try and prevent a battle barge from drawing too near to his vessel. If this form of close-range attack is untenable or proves ineffective, a battle barge can also fall back on its bombardment cannons. While their primary purpose is as orbital support weapons, they can be used to great efficiency against enemy warships. Though they lack the range of lance batteries and the fast reload time of standard ship-to-ship weapons, they more than make up for in the raw killing power. When magma shells impact upon another ship, they do not crash down through their hulls as they might with the planet's surface. Instead, they break upon contact, erupting outward, broiling over the surface of a vessel to strip away its plating and shred its battlements. The immense heat and shrapnel from the resultant explosion confuses automated defense turrets and sensors, allowing the Thunderhawk gunships and boarding torpedoes launched from the battle barge to close unharmed. A series of concurrent blasts is enough to knock an enemy ship off course, and a sustainable assault from a bombardment cannon can cripple and blast apart even the largest of capital ships. The Magos architects and master artificers who built the first battle barges knew full well the terrible storm of violence such a vessel would have to suffer. In order to deliver its payload of space marines and attack craft, a battle barge needs to enter a planet's orbit, leaving itself open to attack from nearby ships and ground-based orbital defenses. Depending on atmospheric and gravitational conditions, successful deployment may require the battle barge to enter a synchronous or low orbital hold, making it even more vulnerable to attack. To compound the problem, the sheer size of the vessel makes it an easy target, and its low engine, power-to-mass ratio, makes it unable to execute dynamic evades. With deployment complete, a battle barge is then expected to remain defiant in orbit. the immovable object acting as a guardian over the Space Marine units below. In short, a battle barge will absorb more fire and weather more damage in a single mission than most warships are capable of withstanding over the course of their entire service. Fortunately, a battle barge is almost indestructible. Constructed with its unique role in mind, the battle barge's skeletons were forged from an ultra-dense alloy. The rare base mineral can only be mined from the sites of recent volcanic eruptions, and it's further hardened by compression tanks situated on high-gravity moons. The pressurized environment hardens the alloy, ensuring the superstructure is as solid as the doors protecting the Emperor's throne room itself. These inner frameworks were then girded in kilometers of hardened plasteel and adamantium, and edged with thick ferrocrete buttresses that surround the main hull like a reinforced rib cage. Finally, a second layer of armor was added to each vessel's prow, forging an unimpenetrable figurehead for the indomitable fury of a battle barge. And those were 40 facts about the battle barge. Like I said, this is going to be one of many videos pertaining to the individual starships or battleships that you will see in Warhammer 40K. So if you guys have any suggestions of any specific class of battleship that you want me to cover, please comment down below. If you like this video and you want to see more like it, please share this with your friends on Facebook or Twitter. Hitting the like button, subscribing, and hitting the little bell notification right next to subscribe really helps out the channel and will help us continue to put out more Warhammer 40K content for you guys. And if you want to support us a little bit more, jump on over to Patreon. A simple $1 a month helps us create more videos. If you can't, simply by liking and sharing, it really helps out. So again, guys, thank you for everything, and I'll see you tomorrow. This was Gershwin with One Mind Syndicate, signing out.